Hello and welcome back to the Four Hat Theory Files with me, Dan. I want to take everybody's attention to probably what is Britain's largest UFO encounter and possibly the world's largest documented UFO sighting in history. Now, this incident is called the PENTRYCH Incident. It was witnessed by a lady called Kaz Clark and her friend David back in February the 26th, 2016. Myself and a friend called Paul Poops from TikTok. If you're not following him on TikTok, please do go and follow him. We have done our own investigation in the meantime. It's called the Four Hat Theory Files, the PENTRYCH Incident almost 10 years on. Please look out for that. I'm going to be uploading that once I've gone through all the footage. We've caught some absolutely phenomenal footage in PENTRYCH, and there is still lots of phenomena going off. But in the meantime, what I want to do is just make everybody aware of this incident because it has been so brushed under the carpet in the UK, it's getting silly. This is something that I put together. It basically outlines the incident which Kaz Clark and David saw. In the meantime, let me know your thoughts in the comments. But like I do say, there will be a feature-length investigation from myself and Paul Poops. Look out for that. That's going to be uploaded in the next couple of days. I've just got to finish doing all the footage. But in the meantime, let me know your thoughts on the incident. This is Britain's and the world's most documented UFO sighting. The MOD responded with a Section 26. You'll find out what one of them is at the end of the video. Take care, everybody. I'll see you soon.
When people talk about significant UFO sightings in the United Kingdom, the mind often drifts back to the strange light seen over Rendlesham Forest in the 1980s. For decades, that event has held the title as the country's most compelling and well-known encounter with the unexplained. However, a more recent incident in the quiet Welsh village of PENTRYCH on February the 26th, 2016, is now widely considered by many investigators to be the most significant and heavily documented UFO event in British history. What unfolded that night was not just a fleeting light in the sky, but a prolonged multi-witness event involving colossal craft, smaller unidentified objects, and a substantial military response that has since been dubbed the Welsh Roswell. At the heart of this extraordinary story is a witness named Kaz Clark, whose life was irrevocably changed by what she saw. Her experience that evening was not a simple passive observation from a distance. It was an immersive and terrifying encounter that set her on a relentless multi-year quest for the truth. For Kaz, this wasn't just about spotting something unusual. It was about witnessing a full-scale operation involving forces far beyond our normal comprehension. Her detailed testimony, backed by a determination to hold official bodies accountable for what happened, forms the unshakable foundation of the PENTRYCH case and has prevented it from being dismissed as mere fantasy or misidentification. Kaz's journey has been one of incredible resilience. Over the years, she has co-authored a book on the incident, meticulously documenting every detail and compiling evidence from other witnesses in the area. To prove the validity of her account, she has voluntarily undergone and passed 3 separate polygraph tests, a testament to her unwavering conviction that what she witnessed was real. Despite receiving threatening phone calls warning her to abandon her investigation and stop speaking out, she has persisted. Her campaign has transformed from a personal need for answers into a public fight for government transparency, questioning why an event of such magnitude could be so deliberately and officially obscured from public view. The events in PENTRYCH stand apart from other sightings due to the sheer scale and complexity of what was reported. This was not a singular ambiguous light, but a series of interconnected events witnessed by many across a wide area. There was a gigantic silent craft, smaller objects being ejected from it, and then a coordinated, almost pre-planned military response involving personnel from both the UK and the US. The incident raises profound questions about what really happened in the skies over South Wales that night and why authorities have gone to such great lengths to avoid providing any clear answers, leaving a trail of speculation and an enduring modern mystery. The central object that appeared over the fields near PENTRYCH defied all conventional explanation. Witnesses, including Kaz Clark, described a colossal, silent, black pyramid-shaped craft hovering menacingly in the night sky. Its size was staggering, with estimates suggesting it was even larger than the Great Pyramid of Giza, a silent monolith that blotted out the stars behind it. This was no distant twinkling star or a conventional aircraft. It was a solid three-dimensional structure that moved with an unnatural grace, devoid of the engine sounds one would expect from any man-made vehicle of that scale. Periodically, the dark mass would emit what witnesses called fingers of light, or strange colored lightning that arced down towards the ground below. From the underbelly of this immense pyramid, an even stranger phenomenon began to unfold. The craft started to eject multiple smaller, intensely bright objects, which witnesses described as being barrel-shaped or oval. These secondary craft glowed with a brilliant incandescence, some red and some green, and they moved with an intelligence and agility that was baffling to behold. Some of the orbs were seen dancing in the sky, moving in intricate patterns and even appearing to merge with one another before separating again. Their vibrant, pulsating colors stood in stark contrast to the dark, oppressive presence of the mothership from which they had emerged, creating a truly surreal and unforgettable aerial display. One particular object captured the intense focus of both the witnesses and later the military forces on the ground. This was a barrel-shaped craft that initially pulsed with a piercing red light before its glow transformed into a vivid, almost living green. Witnesses described this green object as seeming profoundly different from the others, radiating an energy that felt, in their words, like life itself. Its movements were fluid and deliberate, as if it were an independent entity on a specific mission. This green object would soon become the focal point of the dramatic chase that followed, a key piece of the puzzle that authorities have since refused to discuss openly. The spectacle reached a stunning climax when the giant pyramid craft, which had dominated the sky for so long, suddenly vanished. It did not fly away or gradually fade into the distance. Instead, in a split second, it shot directly upwards into the heavens and was gone, leaving behind only the smaller colored objects it had deployed. This instantaneous vertical acceleration defied the known laws of physics and aerodynamics, reinforcing the belief that this was technology far beyond human capability. With the mothership gone, the attention of everyone on the ground, including the rapidly converging military, turned to the remaining red and green barrel-shaped craft scattered across the sky. One of the most disturbing aspects of the PENTRYCH incident was the nature of the military response. According to multiple witnesses, both UK and US military forces were not just reacting to the event, but appeared to be lying in wait, suggesting they had prior intelligence that the UFO would arrive. Military aircraft had reportedly been tracked circling the area for up to 72 hours before the sighting, indicating a pre-planned operation. When the pyramid appeared, ground forces and air assets, including low-flying Apache helicopters in a pyramid formation of their own, quickly moved to surround the object. Their action seemed less like an interception and more like an attempt to usher or guide the craft towards a specific predetermined location. After the colossal pyramid vanished into the upper atmosphere, the military's full attention shifted to the smaller barrel-shaped objects left behind. A frantic and aggressive chase began, with the primary target being the distinctive green object that had so captivated the witnesses. 4 military planes were seen pursuing this single green craft, while ground personnel scrambled towards the nearby town of Lantrisson, seemingly trying to corner it. The entire operation had the feel of a coordinated hunt, with air and ground forces working in tandem to capture or neutralize this specific unidentified flying object, turning the quiet Welsh countryside into a high-stakes battleground. The chase was accompanied by a terrifying soundtrack of chaos and violence. Numerous witnesses across the region reported hearing the distinct sounds of gunfire and a series of loud, powerful explosions that shook buildings for miles around. The blasts were so significant that they were reportedly registered on a seismograph located 40 miles away, confirming they were not merely fireworks or routine military exercises. A nearby hospital even reported that patients were jolted awake by a tremendous explosion, which was followed by a strong, lingering smell of burning sulfur in the air, adding another layer of physical evidence to the unfolding events. The prevailing belief among those who followed the chase is that the military succeeded in its objective. It is thought that at least one of the barrel-shaped objects, likely the primary green target, was shot down and crashed somewhere in the vicinity of Smilog Woods. In the immediate aftermath, military helicopters were observed flying back and forth between the woods and the nearby RAF Samathan base. Clean-up crews, with their identities concealed, were seen combing Lantricent Common for metallic debris and removing items from the crash site in the woods. The area was effectively locked down, and a curtain of secrecy descended almost immediately. In the days and years following the incident, Kaz Clark has led a tireless campaign for answers, refusing to let the memory of that night be buried under official denials. She has submitted numerous Freedom of Information requests to the Ministry of Defense seeking clarification on the military's involvement, the identity of the craft, and the nature of the explosions. Initially, the Ministry of Defense attempted to dismiss the entire event by claiming the activity was part of a pre-planned military training exercise codenamed Chameleon. However, this explanation was quickly debunked by investigators and witnesses whose own research and further Freedom of Information requests proved that the official story simply did not align with the known facts. Kaz's persistence eventually forced the Ministry of Defense into a corner. When she submitted specific pointed questions about the pursuit of the green object and the alleged crash in Smilog Woods, she received a response that was far more revealing than an outright denial. The Ministry of Defense did not claim that the information didn't exist or that the event never happened. Instead, they issued a formal statement that has become central to the alleged cover-up. The reply confirmed that they held information directly related to her request but were refusing to release it to the public, citing a specific clause in the transparency laws. The official Ministry of Defense statement read, "The Ministry of Defense holds information related to your request, but that we believe that some of the information falls within the scope of Section 26 of the Freedom of Information Act, which is a qualified exemption. As such, it is necessary for us to decide whether, in all circumstances of this case, the public interest in maintaining the exemption outweighs the public interest in disclosure." For campaigners, this carefully worded legalese was a bombshell. It was, in their view, a tacit admission that they held evidence confirming the extraordinary events of that night, but were actively choosing to conceal it from the British people, citing a vague notion of public interest. This official wall of silence raises fundamental and troubling questions. Why would the government go to such lengths to hide information about what happened over PENTRYCH? If this was merely a military exercise, why not provide the evidence to prove it and put the matter to rest? The refusal to be transparent only fuels speculation that something truly extraordinary occurred, something that authorities believe the public is not ready to know. It leaves us all to wonder how many other truths are being withheld behind similar exemptions, and whether we can ever truly trust that we are being told the full story by those in power.